Well, ladies and gentlemen, upcoming on the stage, it is time for a very insightful keynote speech on the venture capital challenge, selecting and supporting the winners of tomorrow. And our distinguished speaker will join with us on the stage. Please welcome Mr. Lotan, Levkowitz partner Gulf Venture from Israel.
Sorry? Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me? Hi, pleasure being here. Today I have this huge task. I need to tell you how to select the winners of tomorrow. Yeah, we have our presentation. I can skip the slides, just speak from my own experience, but let's give it a chance. Okay. So I should tell you about how to select and how to support the winners of tomorrow. When I got this title, I thought that I can do it, but I got to start with an honest message. The truth is that no one knows how to do it. If someone would have the recipe or the formula, he will be the richest person on earth, but no one has it. But I can try and tell you how to improve your chances, how to get the basic guidelines to do it better. A bit about myself. I started in Israeli Air Force intelligence. In Israel, everybody going to the army. I've been in a unit, in technology unit, built some products, went then from technology to business, became a lawyer for a bit, consultant. Last 5 years, I'm investing in startups in early stage. I'm part of a fund called Grow Ventures. We're quite a unique fund. We all come from technology background, all build companies. The founder of our fund is known as the inventor of the thumb drive, built $1 billion business out of Israel, one of the Israel's biggest success stories ever. And we invest only in early stage, only in Israeli companies, only with companies with deep technology. We have this focus and we have very good reason for that. We're going to get to that a bit later. Let's talk a bit, to give like a basic guideline, how the startup funding lifestyle looks like. So first, I heard yesterday that here in Thailand, you count all the startups based on the idea stage, which is great. This is maybe one step above the angel phase. And I think the rest of the world is very hard to see when people have ideas. It's very interesting to see how you do it here in Thailand. But and the first investment is usually going to be the angel investment. It's going to give someone the money to take his idea into a prototype. Then you're going to go to seed investment. It can be from bigger angels, from VC, early stage venture capital funds. It's usually going to take this prototype and get to initial product market fit. The next step, which is called the Series A round, usually should give you the money to take this first product you had and to build it inside the market, build some customer base, and then later stages, it takes your position in the market to build more like a dominant position. Of course, the earlier you get, the risk is higher, and actually our job, the investor, is riskier. You need to mitigate all the risk and trying to understand what is happening and who is who. Of course, when you get earlier, your returns are higher, and your result, if you're successful, should be better. So what is a good investment? Some people have different opinions. This is like, for example, a quote from George Best. He said that he spent most of his money on women and drink, and he just wasted. So I'm going to tell you my approach. In the VC, we're quite a unique asset class. It means that we invest in very risky areas in order to beat the market returns. We need to get a beta or something which is significantly better than what you can get in the stock market, for example. So we're targeting very high yearly returns. We do it by backing technology companies from very early days. And if we select the right companies, we enjoy their growth. It means that we need to select today and to support today the winners of tomorrow. So how do we do it? It's a very hard task. And that's the reason that only a very, very small percentage of the venture capital funds actually control most of the money. As you can see here at this part, you see that really 2 to 3 to 5% control most of the money. It means that if you don't know how to be the best performing venture capital fund, If you don't know, you think you will get to the best companies in the world, just go and do something else. It's a business that only the winners takes it all. But if you are a very good VC in top quartile, you get very, very good returns year over year over year. So that's where we, or all the venture capital funds, want to be. How is that happening? Technology is the fastest growing sector in the world. Even when the market is stagnated, even when nothing is changing, technology has been proven in the last decades is really supporting the winners that takes the market from the traditional industry. You see here the example of Amazon. Amazon started in '96 as a bookstore online, became the shop of everything online. And as you can see in the retail market in the US, this is a chart that presents the changes that happened from 2006 to 2016. Amazon, which was another one in the list, maybe one of the smaller ones, actually took over all the market. It went up by 2,000%. And today, if you take all these retailers, brands that we all know, Walmart, Target, Macy's, etc., all together, they're not as big as Amazon. And the only difference between these two categories is technology. So us, the VCs, trying to get to the Amazons of the world when they're still small, in the 1996 perspective. But the problem is, there's a lot of hype, a lot of words, a lot of buzzwords. We all heard about mobile, virtual reality, data analytics, IoT. And the catch is how to look behind the smoke screen and trying to get to the right opportunities at the right time. Let's talk a bit about the challenge. Let's start from the entrepreneur, the company perspective. So this is how we all look at the successful startups, like Amazon, like others. We all see the top part. This is called the iceberg illusion. All see the success, celebrating, going to cocktail events, press conferences, all the marketing messages, when the reality is down here. It's about the failures and sacrifice, and disappointment. To be an entrepreneur probably is going to be the worst thing you're going to do to yourself. If you have any friend that wants to start a company, the best advice as a friend is do something else. Most of the startups fail. Most is more than 95%. Many of them success because they didn't meet their projections, they lost all their money, they didn't have the right planning, the right experience, they don't see the right returns on their project. And actually, if you talk to entrepreneurs, they all start because they really think they can make it. When they start, they have all this enthusiasm. They want to conquer the world. But here, as you can see, I'm not sure if the font maybe is too small. The line here, yellow, describes how much they think they know. So when they start, they really think they know everything. And then reality kicks in. And then they meet the market. And then they start failing. And then they understand that they don't know nothing. And the truth is that over a long, long, long time, you do get some understanding, you do get some experience, and sometimes you even make it. The last chart I'm going to show you about it is, call it the emotional roller coaster of the entrepreneur. Again, everybody starts when he's optimistic. If not, they will do something else. And then they come with this new idea to change the world. And they go to investors, and they present with all this enthusiasm, and then they meet the market. And then they start to raise funds, and then they start to raise team, and then they start to test their product, and they fail. And they fail again. And then they start this depression. And believe me, I'm working with entrepreneurs for most of my life. These are quite miserable people, to be honest. And the thing is, most of the startups die because they end up here, this thorough sorrow, as it's been presented here in the slide. And the ones that do make success are the ones that after they failed, they pivoted. They tried something else, they tried again, and they failed. And they tried again, and they failed again. And then when they start to have some success, they fall again on their faces. The ones that have the power to stand up over and over again after every hit they take are the ones that are the ones that actually reach this thing that's described here as product market fit. And then if they still have the energy, still have the money, they can scale up their business. And this is where the success starts. So we talked about the entrepreneurs. Let's talk about investors. What do we need? So if we want to be the best performing funds, as again, if not, we have no reason to wake up in the morning doing that, we must have the best company. So the first thing we need is a very good deal flow. It is the best secret of every investor is how to get all these companies in the right time. And then after we get them, it's how to build the right sourcing system that when we, for example, in Grove, we meet every year close to 800 companies, eventually investing only in 4. It's a lot of work. In order to do it efficiently, you need to have a very systematic approach, and that's something we built. And you need, of course, to nurture and to support these companies. Most of them, as you can see in the previous slides, not going to make it. Even the ones that are going to make it, probably going to lose their mind along the way. You need to show them and to help them, and most important, not to disturb them. And of course, you need to give them some capital. This is why we're managing in Grove $100 million. And most important, you need patience. As you can see in all these slides, only the ones that makes it all the way get eventually to the point that we all want to get, the successful path. Let's talk about how we solve all these needs. So I would focus on 3 things. You have to focus as an investor. You have to know what you're doing. You have to have the right strategy, how to attack the market. And you have to have a leadership position in order to lead your market, to lead your focus, and to take your strategy from a dream to reality. In the next part, I will tell you how we took these ideas and implemented them on our case. I would talk about Israel in general, and then give one use case in areas that we excel at. So, Israel. Why Israel? All the people like talk about Israel, startup nation, probably maybe heard this name. So Israel, yes, our national sport is startups. Our biggest growth engine is technology. Why is that? Because we have entrepreneurial DNA in Israel. It's a tiny country, neighbors that don't like us that much, and we had always to think out of the box in order to survive. Over the years, we have activity of very big companies that created a very skilled workforce. People have experience. They worked in startups, worked in big companies. In Israel, we have the early adopters mentality. In many industries, many countries in the world, people like to be the second, the fourth, the fifth. No one wants to jump first to the water. In Israel, no one wants to be the second. You always want to be first. We created a very good synergy between the academia and the business side. And we do have one natural resource in the defense industry. Unfortunately for us, we had to find a creative way and to survive, because sometimes our neighbors didn't like us that much. So the way we did it was with technology. So a lot of the knowledge that today is in the high-tech industry actually started from the Israeli army. And of course, we created a very good VC community. People like me that support these startups, so when they have the right idea, can support them along their growth. And of course, the government of Israel, over the years, find the right way to help us as well. Just a few numbers about Israel. We are always in the biggest charts in innovation and patents and academia and investor protection and technology transfer and venture capital. That's us. Let's now talk about the biggest success stories of Israel. You're going to find something interesting. So these are like maybe the 5 biggest companies ever came out of Israel in the high-tech sector. So the first one is M Systems. My partner founded this company, deals with flash storage. Mobileye, maybe you heard about them. Intel just bought them for $15 billion for assisted driving. It's now going to be the old department of Intel for the autonomous driving going to be from Israel, from Jerusalem by Mobileye. Checkpoint, one of the leading companies in the world in cybersecurity, Mellanox in data centers. Galileo was a semiconductor company. All of them provide deep technology solutions. Why is that? Because we are a small country. We are very far from our markets. And in all the other solutions that really needs to have an access to understand, for example, consumer behavior in the US, we're not the best in the world. But in these areas, when we focus, we find very hard problems to solve, we did quite well. But let's look at the map of early stage investment in Israel in 2016. You see that most of the money goes to B2C, business to customers. They go to enterprise software, to cybersecurity, e-commerce, ad tech, fintech. These deep technology areas are only 11% of the investment. Why is that? Because it's hard. To go to a company that wants to develop a very complicated technology in early stages, yeah, that's you guys. It's a very hard task. Us as investors, luckily, we have the ability, we have the means to mitigate the risk, understand what's standing behind this technology. But most of the investors would rather to go, remember the pyramid, to go to the later stages when the risk is a bit, you have a better picture of how the startup looks like. And then, especially when there's deep technology involved, they can still see the numbers, they can see other things that actually can help them to grow the company. Do we have it? Okay, so let me continue without the slides. So what we did in Grove, we looked at this picture, and when we started Grove, we decided to focus on these areas. We focus on these 11% out of the pie that you don't see, because we know that there we can actually bring value. We know that they're going to be the real big wins that actually can help us to be the top performing fund in Israel and in the world. But we focus on 3 key areas today. We focus on areas which have very deep technology that combines Internet of Things, IoT, cloud infrastructure, and artificial intelligence. Why is that? We built an investment thesis. We know that today the cost of sensors went down in the last 10 years due to the whole revolution around smartphones. But the quality of the sensors went up. It means that everything is being sensed. Our body, our clothes, our cities, our cars, our industry. This is called the IoT. All this information, to get it to one centralized location, to store it there, to operate on there in a place called the cloud, the costs are very low today. All the information going to the cloud. Now there's the new generation of artificial intelligence. You can call it deep learning, machine learning, big data, no matter what is the buzzwords. But the meaning of it is you take all these huge amounts of data and you transfer it into meaningful insights. These meaningful insights are the ones that are actually disrupting the traditional industries and create the winners of tomorrow. Now we see many different companies. It's very hard to evaluate them. As an investor, you always look at, again, it's simplifying the work, but look at 3 key areas. And the first and foremost thing here is people. We looked at the team. Only team that we believe that have what it takes. They have the technology capability. They have the right capability of taking all these hits and make it all the way. And they have the talent around the pool that can control all the different aspects of the company are the one we're going to invest in. And then we're looking at the market. What is the need? What problem are they coming to solve? Is that a big market? Is that the market that can create a billion-dollar company eventually? If not, it may be a great company, a great business, but not working for the VC kind of model. And the last thing is the idea, the product. Many people think that they want to start a startup, they think they can change the world, but they miss the right idea. But the fact is, it doesn't matter. It does matter. You need to have some understanding in technology. You need to think of a basic product. But look at the all successful companies in the world today. The product they started with have nothing to do with what they're doing today. Nothing. But if you have the right need, you have the right team, and you have the beginning of a product, you can start working on it really hard until you hit something bad. So this is how we look at the companies. As I told you, we have 800 companies. In Grove, we invest only in 4. We are very focused. So how to get this? We created a whole system of how we do all of our evaluations. We have to do it very fast because the best opportunities are very competitive. In order to do it very fast, you have to have a very detailed plan and you have to focus all your energies on it. Now, we talked about focus. Now let's talk about strategy. Let's talk about leadership. So in Grove, we have realized that there is a sector which is actually amazing. It's big, but it's standing a bit behind all the others. It's less sexy than the others. It's called the industrial sector. So in Grove, we founded what is called the Industrial IoT Forum. I'll tell you about it in a second. If you look about the IoT revolution, many numbers you can see. Billions of devices generating billions of dollars. But if you're going to look up there, the places that have all the biggest impact about IoT is in the factories, in the cities, in what is called the Industry 4.0, industrial internet, advanced manufacturing. Investors like me usually gravitate towards enterprise software, consumer apps, because these areas, they're hard. But we looked at the picture, and we saw that in Israel, there's not too much activity. But in the world, we saw amazing raise in numbers of how much money is being deployed. It became a constantly lucrative area. You see big companies like Sigfox that raised a lot of money, Uptake that broke the record of the company that reached the fastest ever to $2 billion valuation doing predictive maintenance, huge acquisition of Cisco, of Jasper, So the market looks like it's ready. So we founded in Israel the Industrial IoT Forum in order to promote the local ecosystem, in order to support the startups that are already working in Israel, trying to connect them to the local traditional industry in Israel to give them more understanding how to work in this hard market and help them to work with multinational corporates, customers, and partners to get their small products into the market. We know that in this sector there's a huge potential, but there's a big, big problem how to solve it. So again, we rolled up our sleeves, we looked at all the industry, we created a lot of network and means. For example, we created this map. We mapped all the companies in Israel. Before we created this map, if you're going to ask anyone in Israel how many industrial IoT or Industry 4 companies, startups there are in Israel, they will say 5, 10, 15. We realized that there are more than 90 companies in all these areas: predictive maintenance, operation optimization, logistics. Got to be honest, I'm not an industrial expert. I know nothing about these things or knew nothing about these things. But the more I met these teams, I understand something which is very important. They don't know what they're talking about. When they talk to their customers, I understand that customers have amazing needs. The current suppliers they have don't have the solution to help them. All the guys and the giants like Siemens and GE, they're very good in selling products from 20 years ago. No reason to disrupt their markets. They're making very good profit. Only these kind of companies with new technology can solve their needs. But these guys need the guidance, need to talk with the big guys, need to talk with the traditional industry. So we help them with that. After we did all this mapping, we created a lot of attention. People coming to Israel now more and more to look for these kind of startups. After we met all the market, we met all the customers, we were in a very good position to take the right gamble and to choose the right companies to work with. Once we met them, once we invested in them, we have all the means, we had all the network to help them and to scale their business. I'm going to finish with one example of how this whole cycle I described finished. And this is a company we invested in this field, a company called 3D Signals. What they're doing basically is quite simple. They put ultrasonic sensors near machines or microphones. These microphones listen to the machine work. Like everyone that ever had a car or refrigerator or air conditioning system knows, when there's a problem with your machine, it creates a weird noise. This is exactly what they're doing. They're putting the microphones using new type of artificial intelligence called deep learning, analyze the signal it produces, and give information about alerts, about problems before they happen. Doing that, they're being able to save millions of dollars to their customers. So as again, they have a very deep technology. We met them in early stage before they even had a very working product, had just a prototype. It is a combination of IoT, cloud, and artificial intelligence. We took them, when they started, they worked in metal cutting facilities. Industry which is the margins are not that amazing. Over that, they suffered a lot. Again, they failed and they failed and they failed. To work in, for these kind of, I would say, startup geeks, to work in a real factory with people with grease in their hands, not an easy task. But after they solved it and they went through all these failures, they had a very good product. They went to one of the biggest energy companies in the world, and being able, very quickly after they installed, to give them alert that saved them millions of dollars. And despite they're a small company in a market of gorillas and giants, today they have a very good pipeline and very good, very clear way forward. We invested only 18 months ago in this company, already working in 4 countries in the world, already generating very good revenues. To summarize everything I said, I think that the most important thing is dedication. If you want to be a very good venture capital investor, do it. Do only that. You need to sleep on it, wake up to it. You need to be one step ahead of the market. The only way of doing that is dedicate all your life to that. If you have other things in mind, it's great. Do something else. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lotan. Let's go with dear our speaker, Mr. Lotan. Let's go with an all audience. We are sorry for any inconvenience that may causes in between presentation that the screen is showing back. It's due to electricity problems, and we are very sorry, and please accept for our apologize. ต้องขออภัยท่านแขกผู้มีเกียรติทุกท่านด้วยนะคะที่ระหว่างการบรรยาย